Hey guys, it's Dr. Seamus here. In this video, I'm going to be talking about ways we can naturally overcome psoriasis. And this is a chronic autoimmune skin disease that is characterized by inflammation as well as scaling of the skin. The scaliness can also be known as this plaquing that has a characteristic silver or white hue to it. And this comes from an overactive immune system. Okay, it's this autoimmune mechanism that really upregulates T cells and can really expedite cell turnover, causing this plaquing to occur. But it can also come from things like stress, hormonal imbalances, as well as just overall gut compromise can be a big one. I'd like to show a couple pictures here. This is plaque psoriasis here, a couple common areas around the scalp, nape of the neck area, as well as elbows. But you can just see that common characteristic silver and white component there of the scaling and the plaque nature of it. And so we're going to talk about some of the top ways we can naturally eradicate this for good. Okay. And for one thing, I'll say, we need to lower levels of stress in our life because there have been studies published where high levels of cortisol or epinephrine, and when people are in a sympathetic dominant state, it can absolutely just terrorize the gut and just open up the gut lining, causing direct permeability issues where these proteins and these antigens can seep out, get into the bloodstream, travel and lodge in the skin and cause issues such as psoriasis, also cause things like eczema, vitiligo, dermatitis, herpetiformis, and even so many other issues with migraines and headaches, joint pain, thyroid issues, muscle pain, and fibromyalgia, and just so many other things. And so we need to work on just lowering stress. And one thing that I found that I just like to start my day off is in the Bible, having an active prayer life, even meditating on the Word. And that's just something that I think really can orient my mind and get my proper mindset really for the day ahead. And for some people it can be maybe getting out in nature, going for a walk, or really just trying to schedule in certain areas of downtime during the day, having proper margins in the schedule, because we live in a very hurried society. It's very fast paced and we can easily just burn out, especially wear out the adrenals. And so having proper margins in the schedule to really recalibrate and refresh can be super important, can really help balance out hormones, bring that cortisol down. This can be very, very helpful when it comes to psoriasis and overall skin complexion and skin health. Next thing I'll say is really just adequate hydration. A lot of us could work on drinking more water throughout the day. This is really going to help better flush toxins from the body, allow for more better radiant, glowing, hydrated skin. And as well as just helping with GI motility so that it doesn't have any kind of auto intoxication issues in that regard. And then I'll say too, Epsom salt baths can be helpful. The magnesium sulfate here can be very therapeutic, very helpful for the scaling and the patchiness there and the plaquing. It can be very beneficial to help reduce a lot of the effects that has on the skin. And then also certain topicals and natural applicants. Okay, so things like coconut oil, apple cider vinegar, aloe vera, even avocado oil with vitamin B12, Oregon grape. These can be great options, especially with the apple cider vinegar. It's great. It's important to dilute this appropriately so it doesn't cause any kind of extra redness or dermatitis in that regard. But even with that, you can add certain essential oils can be very helpful. So geranium essential oil, tea tree, frankincense, and myrrh can be overall great options as far as topical applications here to help reduce the effects and really soothe and calm down those areas of inflammation on the skin. And then really I'd like to emphasize just overarching really all this is a proper psoriasis diet. And there are really 4 categories of foods that can really flare this up and be totally egregious to the gut. And these are going to be things like gluten containing grains, wheat, barley, rye. There's been a hybridization of grains process that really has upped the amount of gluten in these grains that can really just allow this zonulin protein to be released. It opens up the gut further and contributes directly to permeability and leaky gut issues. Also, conventional dairy. Okay, a lot of conventional dairy products, the cows have been treated with RBST, growth hormone. Okay, they've been given antibiotics. And also, just the A1 beta casein can be very inflammatory and allergenic to the human body. It would be best to steer clear of that. And then certain hydrogenated oils, too, and just the vegetable oils in canola, safflower, sunflower, cottonseed. All these types of oils can be harmful and inflammatory to the body and to the gut specifically, as well as refined sugars and sugar alternatives, things like saccharin, sucralose, aspartame. We're going to be best to avoid those as they can directly flare things up, contribute more to leaky gut syndrome and issues like that. And we want to focus on healing foods and a healing diet. And so I would just say, really right off the bat, one great thing is bone broth can be super beneficial to help seal up the gut. We know it has things like proline and glycine and glutamine, these very beneficial amino acids for the gut lining. It has glucosamine and certain glycosaminoglycans like chondroitin sulfate, hyaluronic acid. It also has a lot of collagen, which we need to remember that a lot of the gut lining is composed of collagen. This can directly reinforce that to, again, prevent a lot of the leaky gut issues. So bone broth is going to be huge here. Also, I'll mention some probiotic foods. And what's good about these is they colonize the colon with beneficial bacteria so that it can crowd out a lot of the bad species and a lot of the bad bacteria and yeast that can over-proliferate, perforate the colon wall and cause issues in that regard. So things like kimchi, sauerkraut, tempeh, a raw goat milk kefir, that'd be really one of the only dairy products I'd recommend that has the A2 beta casein. So it can be a lot better option on the body. So we want to focus on proper probiotic foods to really get any kind of dysbiosis issue out of the gut and recalibrate the good gut bacteria. Now, I'd like to also highlight some healthy fat options, okay? So things like avocados, coconut oil and coconut products, chia seeds, flax seeds, nuts like walnuts and almonds. And these can be, not only good for endocrine health and hormonal balancing, they're also good for brain health, super healthy for the brain, for memory recall, but also for the gut directly. And so we cannot neglect the healthy fats. These are going to be essential for healing psoriasis, okay? When it comes to protein options, I'd recommend some lean and clean options like organic turkey and chicken, wild-caught salmon, grass-fed beef. These can be great protein options. And when it comes to carbs, things like sweet potatoes and squash can be healthy, as well as some wild rice, buckwheat, quinoa. Some of these options, even a handful of berries, can be great when it comes to the overall carb and sugar department. And then as far as a supplement, turmeric can be super anti-inflammatory due to the curcuminoids in there, and that can be very beneficial in this regard. And, supplementally too, I'd like to just highlight a few things like milk thistle is very detoxifying and cleansing to the liver. That can be good. Vitamin D3 for skin health, which a lot of people are devoid in the proper amount of that. Omega-3s, okay, proper fatty acids for skin, hair, and nails, as well as an HCl, a hydrochloric acid, can be beneficial to really help prevent a putrefaction of proteins from happening. So it's going to help with protein digestion. Okay, so this is a protocol dietarily I just wanted to address. But overall, all these things, we want to work on limiting stress, again, hydrating appropriately, and certain topicals can be good, especially the Manuka honey, the apple cider vinegar, the coconut oil, aloe vera. Some of these can be helpful to really soothe and calm down the itching. And that can be a great option applied topically. And then again, just this anti-inflammatory diet where we avoid a lot of the gluten-containing grains, that conventional dairy, hydrogenated oils, and refined sugars, so that we can focus on a lot of these healing options. And I think if we can follow this protocol, we are going to see tremendous improvements in overall skin health, where we can put this into remission and it does not flare up, it doesn't recur. But I think this is a solid protocol to help really eradicate psoriasis for good. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, comment, or even the website, drshamus.com. I have my email and some more contact information there. I'd love to hear from you guys, and even success stories you've noticed. Let me know what you've noticed as far as a psoriasis protocol, if some of these things have worked for you, or even anything in addition to this. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Guys, this has been Dr. Shamus talking about how to overcome psoriasis. I will see you guys soon in another future video. Have a great day, everyone.